The West European chaos of 2046. Well, Jan Mayen was threatened by Iceland, but it was only the citizens, not the police or any of the naval repair yards or the official navy. Portugal actually started declaring war. But then, on Germany starting to land in Ulm. Starting in Porto, they started shipping into land in Czechoslovakia, but then starting first in Antwerp, marching through Belgium, Luxembourg, and then into Czechoslovakia. But then they started in Ulm. Liechtenstein started invading from Innsbruck into Munich. And Czechoslovakia further invaded in Regensburg into Passau. And Augsburg was taken by Portugal. Switzerland is still neutral, but an expected invasion is about to come somewhere later in months. Bosnia made an agreement with Italy that they would cede some of their land. Starting in Split, but Bosnia was allowed to keep its capital, and this is how it was. Albania, not much to be seen, but the Greeks and Bulgarians started invading Macedonia. Carving up the land. And last but not least, Albania started invading. Back again in Africa, nothing much, but aid was starting to come. A few moves have been made in the Balkans. Settlements in Europe started, but this time Denmark wanted to recreate the Kalmar Union, but that was rejected because Norway already starts to unify with Sweden. And Norway takes on the Faroe Islands, which angers the Denmark forces, the Danish forces, but they tried not to ensue in the unification of Norway, Sweden. And Norway, Sweden was successfully unified. Now, Svalbard wanted to gain independence, but that was refused. of Norway. And later, Norway signed a treaty with the UK that the UK was allowed to take the Faroe Islands, which angered Denmark even more. Later, Denmark starts to take Iceland and Greenland to seek revenge on Norway because they felt betrayed. Nothing really yet has happened in Greece, nor Ukraine, Belarus, or Russia, and not even in Turkey. But by a special treaty, Greece was allowed to have some stuff, except for Istanbul, because that was a key city, and the Turkish were allowed to have it. But then, Serbia and Italy invaded Montenegro, carving it up between the two. But then, Bosnia finally surrendered because of less food, but first started invading Serbia, and that kind of broke a sort of alliance, and they killed off Bosnia. And Italy took the other half. Meanwhile, everyone was actually sort of exhausted. But Sweden was actually still alive and plans to take over Scandinavia. But then, from Kalmar, the Norwegians successfully invaded the threat. Meanwhile, let's go to Curacao. Technically, the Dutch are still alive. And even in the Caribbean, it still seems safe after that conquest. But yeah, see, the Netherlands is actually still there, waiting to seek revenge. And then, they got on their territories in the Caribbean and started to seek revenge on that sort of revolution. They took some islands on the way and started invading the Danish Empire in Leeuwarden. Even they started invading Antwerp, and it was covered menacingly. But yeah, Antwerp capitulated in Germany, all because of the Dutch. But then, which made the Dutch surrender again, made it happen. And then the Danish came. Same with the UK. And they killed them off. And Antwerp starts taking Maastricht again. And with Antwerp, Eindhoven and Limburg. And then the Brits coming from Ipswich came back and took more land. And then they shipped on. And Venezuela made it successful from Grand Roque. Pushing them off the continent. Which made it successful. Wouldn't see it again. But Belarus started invading in Brest, taking Lublin and Warsaw. But then, with help from Ukraine, but the Poles were able to fight it hard, taking back land. And then, the unexpected was happening. Finland joined the war again and took off. But then pulled back because the Finns were awaiting something. And they were allowed to keep these lands, which kind of split Belarus in two. Oh well, at least it's round, kind of. But then, Norway started attacking in the north. And then, Belarus quickly sent aid to Finland, and so did the Stams. But Norway was too strong. But then, Finland didn't really need aid, but just suspectedly end Norwegian occupation of their land. And started invading Norwegian land, marking the surrender of most Norwegian forces. The Danish also started invading for a seek of revenge. Ireland doing the same, carving up some of the stuff. Covered up in Irish, Finnish, and Danish land. Norway and Sweden couldn't hold it any longer and started suing for peace until Italy joined and destroyed them all off. And then Scandinavia, especially Norway and Sweden, were carved up. Except for one small island that was once a threat to Norway. But they didn't see, so Norway was technically still there. Until the Finns finally caught it up. Well, what will happen next with all that chaos? I think Cyprus is gonna be in danger, but let's find out.